Messiah Complex. It's a behavior pattern in which a person sees themselves as a savior, leader, or messianic figure. They often feel an intense need to be worshipped, followed, or revered by others, and they may believe they have a special destiny or a unique mission to save or transform others. This term can also be used to represent a mental state in which a person believes they are an actual Messiah or prophet and will save or redeem people in a religious endeavor. The Messiah complex can manifest in various contexts, from political and religious leaders to individuals in positions of authority or influence. Oedipus Complex. It's a psychological theory developed by Sigmund Freud that suggests that during early childhood, around ages 3 to 6, a child feels a subconscious sexual attraction to the opposite-sex parent and jealousy towards the same-sex parent, seeing him or her as a rival. Freud believed this complex is a normal stage of development that most children eventually outgrow, resolving these feelings as they identify more with the same-sex parent. This complex is named after the Greek myth of Oedipus, who unknowingly killed his father and married his mother. Peter Pan Complex. This term is used to describe an older person whose emotional life has remained at an adolescent level, avoiding responsibilities and commitments and preferring a more irresponsible and childish attitude. It takes its name from Peter Pan, who is known for his refusal to grow up and his desire to remain eternally young. People with this complex usually leave important decisions to others, exhibit dependent behaviors both emotionally and economically, and have a low tolerance for frustration. It's actually not recognized by the World Health Organization, it's not listed in the DSM-5, and it has a significant overlap with narcissistic personality disorder. Adonis Complex. Also called muscle dysmorphia or vigorexia, it's a disorder in which the person is obsessed with their physical condition to unhealthy levels. People with this complex have a distorted view of themselves, seeing themselves as weak. It usually directly impacts their eating behavior and their physical activity levels, usually making them pretty extreme. It affects mostly men, particularly those involved in sports where body size or weight are competitive factors, becoming rational to gain muscle or become leaner. In more severe cases, social relationships are abandoned, and every other aspect of life is neglected to focus on training. It's also possible that some of them start getting an exaggerated protein intake and start using anabolic steroids to increase their muscle mass. People with this complex may not seek help, thinking they're leading a healthy lifestyle. Jonah Complex. It's the fear of success, and it obviously prevents self-actualization, keeping those who suffer from it tied to behavior patterns that limit them. Some causes of this complex can be the fear of leaving the comfort zone and breaking the routine, or even shyness, since developing our talents usually goes hand in hand with attracting the attention of others. They can also have feelings of guilt because they feel they do not deserve it, as well as the fear that their relationships will be strained if they achieve success because their friends and family will react with jealousy. All of this also stems from the overwhelming sense of responsibility that could come with achieving success. Superiority Complex. It's an unconscious mechanism in which a person exhibits attitudes of superiority to hide his or her own insecurities and feelings of inferiority. It usually manifests in an exaggerated belief in being exceptionally better than others, with inflated self-esteem and the conviction that everything they do, say, or believe is correct. This person tends to see others as inferior as a defense mechanism for his own shortcomings, and it can be associated with social withdrawal and daydreaming as ways to avoid facing the fear of failure. Inferiority Complex. It consists of feeling inferior to other people without any rational reason, feeling that others are better, have more qualities, and more possibilities in everything. It may cause an individual to overcompensate in a number of ways. For example, a short person who feels inferior for that reason might wear special shoes to make himself appear taller or surround himself with individuals who are even shorter than he is. It may also cause an individual to be prone to flashy attitudes, with behaviors ranging from attention-seeking to excessive competitiveness and aggression in an attempt to compensate for their either real or imagined deficiencies. Superman Complex. It's an unhealthy sense of responsibility or the belief that everyone else lacks the capacity to successfully perform one or more tasks. Such a person may feel a constant need to save others and, in the process, take on more work on their own. Othello Syndrome. Also known as pathological jealousy, It's a delusional disorder in which the person suffering from it is firmly convinced that their partner is unfaithful without any rational reason to believe so. It usually comes with obsessive thoughts, with the affected people constantly thinking that their partner is being unfaithful and having controlling behaviors such as constantly monitoring their partner's activities, checking their messages or contacts, and limiting their overall freedom. The name Othello Syndrome comes from the character in Shakespeare's play Othello, who murders his wife as a result of a false belief that she has been unfaithful. Cinderella Complex. It's a psychological term describing a woman's unconscious desire to be taken care of by others, like Cinderella being rescued by a prince. Women with this complex might feel unable to be independent or self-sufficient, often relying on others for support and decision-making, and may fear taking on adult responsibilities. The complex is said to become more apparent as a person grows older, and it might come from an education where a woman is expected to be beautiful, polite, and supportive of others, but fundamentally incapable of either taking care of herself or changing her situation through her own efforts. Instead, she is taught that she needs to be protected and taken care of by someone else, usually a man.